What's up, you guys? Danger Rock here. Today we're going to be looking at the Toy Story 30th Anniversary Storytellers set with Buzz Lightyear and Zurg. This one was called Space Alien Rescue, which is really cool. This was released by Mattel in 2025, and it looks like what we have here is really small, detailed, articulated action figures. Before we take a look at the figures itself, we're going to take a look at its packaging. I really like what they did here with the iconic scenes from the movie you got right here at the top. I really like the space background that they decided to go with here. You can see right here in the background, it looks like Zurg's planet from the opening of Toy Story 2. I actually really like that. We got Buzz, Zurg, and an alien included. On the side of the box, you just have the Toy Story logo right there. On the back right here, you get a picture of all three figures. It says Space Mission Alien Rescue. Recreate your favorite movie moments. Looks really cool. Nothing at the bottom but labels and barcodes. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. And we're actually going to compare it to some other Toy Story figures that we have right here. So these are held in there pretty nicely with some twisty ties. So what I'm going to do is cut the twisty ties open. Out comes Zurg. I'm going to try to get Buzz out of there. And it seems like the one that's in there sealed the most is the alien. You actually have to peel the box open to get to it because he's actually sealed inside there. Oh, there he goes. And look at that. You can see a backdrop right here in the background of planet Earth right there. It's really interesting packaging they used. So now on to the figures. So the first one we're actually going to start out with is Zurg. So I got to say right off the bat, this is a really nice smaller Zurg figure. I actually really like it. What I will say about this is he's very well detailed and he's very well articulated. The only gripe I have with the figure is that he's missing some paint. So right here at the top of his cape, you can see the red inside the cape that they did not include right here on the inside of the rest of his cape. So that's actually a disappointment. They didn't color his torso in here black like it was in the movie. So that's another thing that I wasn't really happy about. But I mean, overall, it's still a nicely sculpted, detailed-looking figure. The thing where it kind of loses interest for me is that we don't have his ion blaster, which is like the main thing with this guy. You know, when we first see him in Toy Story 2, we see him with his ion blaster. Later on in the movie, we see him with his ion blaster. So I don't like that when I turn him around and I just look at his cape, he doesn't have the blaster, which is something the older Zurg figures had. But aside from that, I will say at about 3.5 inches tall, for this being a really small figure, he does have some really nice detail. His face sculpt turned out really nice. I think the red in his eyes and the purple texture came out really, really clean. He is well articulated. You can actually move his head a little bit, even though it's inside the cape. So it nods back and forth. His arms can fully rotate. They go in and out. They don't swivel or move or anything at the elbows. They only rotate at the shoulder joints right here. His torso can't be fully rotated either. It just moves left and right. The cape is not bendable or whatsoever. It's just stuck in this position. Right at the bottom right here, you can see these wheels. They don't actually roll. They just stand up straight, which is a shame, but I actually really do like that about this Zurg, which he has an open hand and a fisted hand, which leads me to believe that you can actually fit an ion blaster in one of his hands. But overall, it's okay. I mean, I will say that I did buy this set for the Zurg. You can never have enough Zurg figures in the collection. So the next one we're going to be taking a look at here is this alien, which he fits in very well with my alien army. Very nicely detailed and everything. You got the purple collar right here and the blue suit. He's not squishy or anything, and It turns out the only articulation this guy has is in his hands and his head. You can actually fully rotate his head and his hands. He stands up straight. He's got the nice detail right there on his Pizza Planet logo, so I'm actually really happy they decided to include that. Same thing with the Zurg. I feel like he could have used just a little bit more paint detail right here, like right on his symbol right there, but it's still okay. He's about the same size as all my other aliens, so I think he's going to fit in well with my alien collection, and I have no problem with that. But I saved the best for last. So right here we have Buzz Lightyear. And I will say he is not a bad looking Buzz figure. I will say he has more articulation than the other two figures. You can fully rotate his head like that. Arms go up and down. They hinge outward, side to side. He does have a shoulder joint right here where he can move at the shoulders. It doesn't move in the waist whatsoever. His legs can kick outward that far. They can go back pretty far. Legs go out. You can actually get him to do a split. And his torso can fully rotate. So really nice detail right here for Buzz. I mean, there are some errors I also noticed about this, just like I did with the other two figures right here. Is the first thing is they didn't include his helmet, which is interesting because Mattel usually had the features with these smaller Buzz Lightyears that you could just flip their helmet open. A lot of times, especially with secondhand figures, their helmets would get lost over time. So I'm not happy about that because it takes away from the detail. And right on the box right here, you can see these iconic scenes where his helmet is closed. So that's one thing I really don't like. The face sculpt turned out pretty nice, but another thing I wasn't happy with is right under his face, his entire chest plate here is purple, which I know those guys saying, yeah, his head in the movie is, the back of his head is purple. But this whole area right here, I remember in the movie was colored green. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. That's my biggest gripe with that. The decals right here, like his Space Ranger Lightyear sticker and his laser sticker came out very clean. Something I noticed, which was a factory error with these, and when I picked this up at the shop, I noticed it on the other Buzz figures too, is his Space Ranger sticker right here is upside down. So I thought, is that a defect with my figure, or are they all made that way? And it turns out, after watching other reviews of this set, they're all made that way. So I'm actually not happy that that happened. And same thing right here is that it's missing paint on the back. Like the Danger and the Jet Exhaust sticker are not here. His turbine thing on the back is not colored in. They sculpted his screws right there in, but they didn't color them in either. So I feel like the detail is there. The moving parts is there. But there's a lot of detail missing here. And what I will say is, the price point around these being $25 to $30, yeah, I would say that that's actually pretty high, especially for figures that you would expect to see at retail for around $7 to $10 here, because like I said, these are very small in scale. The reason why I was so happy to pick this up was because I picked up the other set, which was with Woody, Jesse, and Bullseye. So what I'm going to bring in for as far as comparisons go is, here's the Woody that came with the Storyteller set. And I feel like he's not missing any paint detail at all. He was actually made perfect. They even included his hat right here, which is removable. And I was more pleased with that set right here. They also decided to give him articulation in his ankles. You can't even see his ankle joints right here. His holster moves and everything. His face sculpt was like, yeah, it looks like him. This looks like more of an alive mode in a toy mode. If I stand them up right next to Buzz right here, the size comparison, I would say, is accurate because Woody is taller than Buzz in the movie. It's just all this purple right here in the midsection of his helmet just kind of throws it off for me. I don't think that's very well done at all. I wasn't happy with that. But what this reminded me of is Mattel has made some really highly detailed Toy Story figures over the year, like that movie collectibles line back in 2009 and 2010, which was exclusive to Toys R Us. And then they also made a Disney Pixar collection where they decided to include sketches of the characters on the packaging. And those figures were about 3.75 inches tall. They were super detailed and they were loaded with articulation. Here I feel like these aren't as articulated. They have some really nice sculpts and detail or everything, but they're just missing some paint. So I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that. But I will say overall, these figures came out nicely. What I also do have, as far as comparisons go, is I have an old Hasbro Alien right here, which is very small in scale compared to this Alien. And another thing I wanted to bring in as far as comparisons go, which will show you guys what I'm talking about, is right here I have an old bendable Buzz Lightyear. Now, I know what you guys are saying, that the joints on this guy are just bendable. The knees don't bend or anything whatsoever. But I will say this. He doesn't have as much detail as that guy over there. But he does have his helmet, and he does have all the paint right here on his back. Like, if we take this compared to this, if I'm looking at these guys on my shelf, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's the old Buzz figure that I know and love. Especially since that one right over there has a lot more detail in the decals, like his Space Ranger sticker and everything. This right here, they're just stickers. They're not that highly detailed at all. But it does show the difference over the years. Another thing I have for comparison, just to show you guys how much detail Mattel put in over the years with these figures, is right here we have a Mattel Woody, which this one is quite a bit taller than this guy right here. You can actually see all the details put into this. In both of them, actually. It's just this one is more towards the 6-7 inch scale. This is towards a 3-inch scale, so that's where it kind of loses it for me. But I mean, back then, like, if this was 2009 or 2010, for $7 or $8, I could get a figure of this size that has this much detail. Nowadays, in 2025, for a figure that has this much detail is $30 or $34.99, depending on where you buy these at. So that's just kind of where I have the problem with, is that these are very nicely sculpted and everything. The detail there is pretty good, but they could have added more paint. I feel like they also could have added more accessories. Like, we have one Alien in this set. They could have included 3 of them for the price point of $34.99. I would say that a lot more could have been included. But regardless, I mean, it's still a really nice set. If you're collecting the characters, you're still going to want to pick this up. The only one I did not pick up was that Andy's Room set, which included Rex, Ham, and I think Slinky Dog as well. That one actually has the same Woody that we have right here. So that one, I feel like they're nice for display because of the scene background right here. But these guys right here, I would say overall they are decent. They're still worth adding to the collection if you're able to find these for a decent price. Would I recommend paying full price for these? I would not. I think they're just very high in price. But overall, still a nice set. I look forward to hearing from what you guys think, so let me know in the comment section down below. This has been my review of the Toy Story 30th Anniversary Storytellers set by Mattel. This was the Space Mission Alien Rescue set. If you like this video, please leave a like. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think of these figures? Do you think that they were worth picking up? Are you going to add this one to your collection, or are you just going to wait for all that new Toy Story 5 merchandise to drop? I look forward from hearing from you guys. Thank you all for watching as always, and I'll see you guys on the next video review.